Alright, so this time around we're actually just going to add a trigger event to the mover. So we'll have it go across the screen this way, and then when the trigger event occurs, we'll have it start moving down this way. So in order to do that, we need an object that'll actually trigger it when it hits here. So we could use the block since it's right here to start with. So let's go ahead and go over to our triggers right here. Be sure that your trigger setting is enabled. And then we're going to turn off player. We just want any tile. We could do by target just to make sure that only the mover gets hit with it. But we'll do any tile for this one. And then when it comes to the trigger states, let's have on enter be taking a notice, but don't worry about the off exit. We just want to only concern ourselves with on enter. Alright, and then we need to move the trigger out just a little bit here. Let's go on the left and move it out to about 6. That way this will get pretty close to the edge here before it starts to make its different move. Alright. And then we also need to make sure we use our trigger event brush, and we'll put the brush on the mover right here. So what we're basically doing is saying, and here, actually let's make this visible so you can see it. There we go. So we're saying that when the mover gets over here and it hits the trigger box right here, this block is going to send a message over to its trigger event, and it's going to say, hey, do something. So let's go to our mover. We're going to say mover when on trigger enter happens, and then we'll scroll to the end down here. Alright, so when on trigger happens, let's go ahead and make sure that we do actually here before, I think previous settings might be a little different. So if you click on the button to go down, you should get rid of the little tips on it. Let's go ahead and make sure that our mover is set up. We want to make sure we have unlimited on. Don't worry whether the repeat is on or not. Unlimited will override that one. On the event updates position, be sure this is checked. Over on the right hand side, be sure your ping distance is at 0. If it's at 0, what that means is the object will just continue moving in whatever direction it's supposed to move, and it'll just keep on going that way. So we'll say ping distance 0, and then we can go back to our block, and then when we click on the enter, it's going to turn the check marks back on for us, the little boxes there. Alright, so on enter in the translate, we want to say that we want to change the angle. So we're going to drag the angle over. I'm going to take it and all the way over to 90. And also be sure that you turn the green. There we go. So we'll turn the green button on for there. And remember, turning the buttons on, you just click on it, it turns it on and off. Also, just as a note, you can't drag on this button, you can only drag on the bar, so you just have to grab a little bit behind and then drag it out. Alright, so what this should do, let's go ahead and click on the button to deselect it. We'll go to the orange and get out of the properties mode. So now when we play, what we actually should happen is that the mover is going to move all the way over there, and then it'll hit that, and then the position will update and go a different direction. So players on here, I'm going to move him back just a little so he doesn't actually trigger or do anything to the brush. So we hit it, now we're actually going another direction, and again we could do the mover down here to do another direction this way, and keep the whole thing going in different ways. Alright, so that's going to be the setup with a trigger event, actually adjusting the translate position into a different direction for us.